is a very, very innovative technology where we are measuring the CO2, the VOC, humidity, temperature, PM 2.5, PM 10, the air quality in general, the light, the sound, and all this data is being captured, and we are seeing how we can make the indoor environment a better place for all of you. And after measuring this, we capture the carbon dioxide, we make the air quality better here. While we improve the air quality, eliminate the sick building syndrome, reduce the heat island effect, we also reduce power consumption by almost 30%. So normally in sustainability we speak about the 3 P's: people, planet, and prosperity. So these solutions meet all the 3 P's. We also have here a wonderful product called Drinkable Air, which converts the humidity in the space into high quality drinking water. And this is there at that corner, and it's also on the ground. I would like to invite all of you to go and taste the water. We have Mr. Michael from Drinkable Air sitting with us with his glass of water. Please do try that, and we would love to collaborate with you so that we can make this place a better place to live in. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Today, Rotary has over 1.3 million members around the world that are engaged in both relief and recovery and development initiatives around the world. Today, our session today is based on relief and recovery, so we're going to hear examples of relief and recovery efforts that have been done in multiple places with regards to food and agriculture, with regards to water filtration, and with regards to engaging Rotary as a civil society member that brings these things forward. And today, it's my honor to introduce Anika here, who will be our moderator. Thank you.
So I am Anika Rahil. A lot of people call me Fatima actually, but my name is Hanika. You remember honey and ka, so it's Hanika. Alright? So I am a dual member of Rotary and Rotract. So I'm the President-elect of Rotary Club of Calamanor, the 56th President-elect. So I'm also the past President of the Rotract Club of Cinnamon Gardens from District 3220, Sri Lanka and Maldives. I'm also a global shaper, so I'm also part of the Commonwealth Youth Peace Network. I'm the lead for membership and engagement. So that is a little bit about me. So I would like to welcome our esteemed panelists, who bring a wealth of experience here today. So without further ado, let me welcome Ryan Rowe. Could we please have you up at the podium, please? Yeah, thank you. And then Henk Holflag, and also Angela Tenbrook. And I will give a brief introduction about all of them once they're here. We have to do more than climate change and change our narrative, the approach. And I also want to insist on what you said that, having been here in person has definitely a personal touch. So it creates more impact. I mean, we all have flown from different parts of the world, which could have actually been a Zoom call, but we are here, right? So without further ado, let me introduce our next panelist, Angela Tenbrook. I hope I got your the pronunciation right. So Angela is an experienced executive with a demonstrated history of working in bridging the gap in sustainable economic opportunity for small holder and landless producers that includes a systematic approach to economic development from the farm to the consumer. Skilled in non-profit organization, aquaculture, agriculture facilities, design, agricultural technology, and it goes on. And also she was a graduate from University of North Florida, Cornell University S.Lee Johnson School of Business Purdue Executive Program, and Rollins College Kramer School of Business School Entrepreneur Raleigh C. Fellow, Winter Season 2022-2021, Florida's Women of the Year in Agriculture. Most recently, she has been working in collaboration with Climate Reality Project and the Harvard alumni for climate and environment, specifically in regen agriculture, and its application to both soil and food at the same time. Thank you, Angela Tenbrook, for being here. Over to you.
Thank you. So when we have a disaster, where's the food? Is always the question. And so I like to break it out into a very systemic approach into the manner in which we deal with this. So I'm going to come at this at the farmer perspective. What we as governmental organizations, our climate, our community organizations, what should we do to address to make sure we have farming and food in our community? So day one, we're going to assess the damage and decentralize farming. So it is my belief as a whole that we should be decentralizing farming for distribution and for food security and so forth. So this gives us the opportunity to have an assessment, and then we can start gathering water and canned and fresh foods. And we should do this from local providers. On day two, we're going to look at the local stores and then start decentralizing stockpiles. This means that we prepare for how we're going to give the food away, how we're going to deal with water, and is in this day that we should be preparing in handheld produces. So this, you'll be surprised at what people will eat with their hands when there is a disaster. And so we say, just get handheld produce, and that way you keep your people nourished. By day three, we should be checking on our livestock and our farmers for continuity, for the opportunity to have food. We should be also looking at where the seed storage is and feed storage. Many times they go hand in hand. We also have the issue of being hangry. And when we are hangry, we mix hunger and anger together. We have a very big disaster. So first day, second day, the majority of people are okay. They have their own stores or their stores around. But once we get to day three, we have an issue. From day 4 to 10, we should start empowering the farmers to ramp up their production. This means that they need to have solar power generation, as well as other opportunities to be able to grow. So the one thing that we always are talking about in Rotary is water purification. So the most important thing is this is the day in which we will pull out our purification systems and really start working towards that. If you haven't ever experienced a Rotary opportunity in water purification, there are some very dynamic opportunities for this. And I think you'll hear a little bit about that coming after me, about those purification systems. You should also be looking at those purification systems for possible contamination. Because as an example, on my very own farm, when Hurricane Ian and Nicole came through, my farm was covered in 6-foot tsunami of water, and then every day flowed out, flowed in, flowed out. We had to run our wells for multiple days. Is that a good process, a good use of water? Probably not, but it is what happens. And so, as an interesting tidbit, I have one of the largest permits for water on the St. John's. And so we had to turn our wells on, and the first hour of water was nothing but black. So it was not even, it was not gray water even, it was not even opportunity, and it was just terrible water. And so you should also be thinking, many times farms in our area and farms that we work with, that we build around the world, become the transition area for on and off farm ready processes to move food into the community. So our farms pivot and become not only production of our products, but productions of all of our neighborhood farmers. This means, the protein, dairy, as well as produce, and we become the hub for transit for, food security and so forth. If you have food security and you have water security, you generally do not have unrest. So what's worked? So we had Hurricane Ian came through, and this was what left in my farm. Neo came and we were covered in water and very dirty, and the water had taken over all of our pumps. But the system that we had built with on a hydraulic pump, so we were able to do aqueduct, that would be the other idea of this. So you use the hydraulic head and you're pushing with gravity. And so we were able to do that. The other thing that has worked In communities where there's not been a disaster, but there needs to be food, and there's not food locally, how do you spring this up? So what we have found is that in many of the rotary well areas, we have waste of water. And so what we have done is take these, what are usual things in agriculture, we have actually taken and utilized into the rotary area, and what it does is it wicks across. So the water is not just in one spot, it wicks all the way across, which allows you to have irrigation during this time, so you can stand up food pretty quickly with these mats, and if we already have rotary wells there, it allows the vegetables or whatever you're working towards to have water during this time. The other thing is happened is that in the next one you see, this is when Maria came through the British Virgin Islands. The only things that we were able to do was stand up very quickly soilless-based agriculture, but we as well knew that we needed to plan for the future, so the young people went to building these compostable, recyclable beds here that you see in the middle. And then on the far side is actually a facility that is built that is the, anyway, it's a Caribbean island that we were working towards. And what we found was that when we were building controlled environment, recirculating systems, what we needed to do was build the beds up a little bit, so that when the water came through, it allowed them folks to have continuous operation of food and water during this time of disaster. Because it becomes pretty powerful if you're able to eat during the disaster as you're building, as well as being able to drink. So we like to say, in building in emerging countries, we like to start right. And in Rotary, we talk about pumps and wells for water, and sanitation and hygiene, and economic development from the first two. So our company and our group actually works, so when I'm in the International Rotary 9999, Washi, and we're International Rotary out of New Zealand, and so when we put a well in, and the water is coming up and the community has started now to have fresh water, the next thing is sanitation. Once we have these two things, then what do we do next? So we are advocating for economic development opportunities as well as educational opportunities for the communities in agriculture to be able to have opportunity for women to come to work. As well as this allows for consumption management, because if you have something and you become used to it, it becomes like, oh, it's no big deal, it's dripping. Okay, and then when the water goes dry, it becomes something totally different. So this is actually a video that shows some of the work that we did on I'm going to stop it real quick. We believe that after you're contaminated, most people don't realize that you generally don't farm on that area, but all over the world we do. So this is actually a farm I built on a Superfund site. We transitioned the farm into become a place for the community to be A, proud of, B, an opportunity for local production. And it was on a Superfund site, and people were like, I don't know, what are we doing? So this is an example of how you can transition wasted land, which when the storms have come through or you've had some sort of war, disaster, and so forth. This gives you an opportunity to see how we can stand it up pretty quick and transition food into communities. is that when we build in communities, and those farms are turned over to the communities, which is our expectation, that the community becomes a more viable opportunity. So you may have noticed that Foodery Farms was a full system. So you had ground-grown food, you had a controlled environment, you had fish, and you had a produce vending machine. So that facility became a sustainable, stood-up facility. We have a facility in Bolivia, in Tacuati, in Santa Cruz de la Sierra. And so this is an example of building in the jungle and being able to transition that. So when you put food close to people in their community, those communities become safe and viable going forward. Also, it allows you to have circular economies. When you build circular economies, you're able to actually empower the folks in the community even more. So it gives us the opportunity to be able to grow food anywhere, at any time, and we have them in every land zone, from the equatorial area to the coldest areas in Canada, to the Caribbean, to Czech Republic. So we are actually able to build circular economies, which are all part of the SDGs as we move forward, and is the idea of moving forward in the Rotary idea of doing what's right for the next person. So what is the benefit to this? The benefit to this is peace and resiliency. It gives the communities both the opportunity to have peace as well as have the opportunity to be resilient going forward. We're not looking for staying the same, which is what sustainability means. Resilience and moving forward, going forward, allows us to be able to innovate as we move. So at this time, I'm going to transition it back over.
I have to tell you, when you put food close to people, you said they indeed become viable. I'm sure everybody in this room would agree with that, no? And on a lighter note, you did mention about hungry. Can we have a raise of hands to see how many of you all have experienced hungry? Please guys, be honest. I'm sure every one of you have experienced being hungry. So okay, so let's quickly move to our next panelist, Hank Holslag. So, Hank has 3 decades of experience in developing countries in both failures and success. He is the co-founder and advisor of Smart Center Group, which are watch knowledge centers in 9 countries in Africa and in Nicaragua. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. These centers train entrepreneurs in local production of innovative, low-cost technologies like manual drilling of wells, EMRs, road, solar pumps, groundwater recharge, and household water filters. Over 10 million people worldwide have basic water service with such low-cost technologies because of Hank. So can we have Hank over here, please?
I would go on with what Angela mentioned on the water treatment. And this is about household water treatment. And this is an idea, it's not a program or a project, it's an idea. It's called 2 with 8. And 2 with 8 was born on the Stockholm Water Week 1 year ago, when there was another call for action now. I've been around a few years, I've been to about 20 water conferences, and at the end of all the conferences I hear the same thing. We need to collaborate and we need action now. So, with a group of people, we made a bold idea. We said, we have 2 billion people worldwide that do not have safe drinking water. And we can solve that with $4 a person. A one-time investment of $4 a person. And whether it's 4 or 3 or 5, doesn't matter. And the bottom line is household water treatment. We all know the numbers. It's astonishing that a quarter of the world does not even have a safe water source. And the reasons are also clear. In the urban areas, it's a lack of funds for maintenance. In the rural areas, open water sources, it's sanitation, latrines close to the wells. But also it's a recontamination of water once the water is safe at the point of tap. People carry it home and if the thing is in the bucket, you get recontamination. Or you get contamination in the storage when the people store it at home. So, the logic is treat it at the household level. Treat it at the point of use. So, I hope you did not have your lunch yet, but if you did, you might feel a little bit sleepy. So, I would like to ask you, would you agree with this proposition? So the proposition is that it is more cost effective in the short term to reach the goal with safe water if it is with household water treatment. So the most cost effective option to have safe water for these 2 billion people is household water treatment. And I would like to see hands. Who would agree with this proposition? Only one hand per person. I see 3.5, 4. The logic is that you would not agree with this proposition. Anyway. So there is larger options for schools and communities, but again we will focus on the household. And you all have heard of the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization in 2005, was it 2007, had a big publication saying that household water treatment combined with hygiene can reduce diarrhea by 60%. They even claimed more. They said every dollar you invest in household water treatment may have a benefit of up to $60 avoided cost. And whether it's 60 or 20 or 30, the logic is, of course, you can save a lot of money if you treat your water. So, since then, there have been many projects with household water treatment since 2005. And why did it not scale up? If it is so simple, it's such an open door. The reason probably is of the failures. There have been many failures. I'll give you one example. There was a big program that gave away almost 1 million filters in East Africa, in Kenya, and after 1 year, almost none of the filters were used. And I see you know the project. Anyway, the bottom line is that it was a very nice technology, but it was not user-friendly. It was not easy to clean the filters. There was no supply chain. When the filters were broken, they could not buy new things. So it was missing. A few things were missing. Another reason, of course, is it was a free gift. And if you get something completely free, it doesn't work. On the other hand, water filters are a multi-billion business. Google water filters. You will get 350 different types of water filters. So it's a big business. So filters do work. The challenge, of course, is how do we get it to the poorest? And we think one of the reasons that it did not work to get it to the poor is the lack of ask. And there is dots between the two. So it's a lack of awareness. If people see clear water, they don't know, they don't understand that this water can have bacteria. So you have to have awareness of all this, of the need to treat it. The next thing is the lack of a supply chain. You need to be able to buy treatment options in all these places. In every town, you should have an option, a range of options. And the third one is subsidies. The bottom poor are so poor, they will not even pay a filter for $2. You need to help the poorest. Do you want to read about this? This is a very good book about marketing of safe water systems. It explains all the reasons why it did not work. So where would you invest these 2 billion? as I said, in awareness. Radio, television, long-term, nationwide, you need to create awareness on the need to treat the water at the point of use. The second is build supply chains, create payment systems. Every shop where they sell chlorine should sell, filters also, we think. And the last one is subsidy for the poorest. We estimate that the 2 billion, at least 1 billion is so poor they cannot even pay $2 or $3 for a filter. So you need to help them. You need subsidies. And then of course the people that know about subsidies say, but subsidies will destroy the market. Right? Well, if you do it the right way, subsidies can support the market. They don't need to destroy the market. And we have the example with bed nets, mosquito nets. They were largely given away with what they call vouchers, discount vouchers. So an example, if you can buy a filter for $22, you can give a voucher of $20 to a poor family. With that voucher, the family goes to the local shop. They pay $1 or $2. They have to pay a little bit, even if it is $1. And then they get a filter. And if they want a more expensive one, they pay more. So how would you invest this money, this $4 per person? We think that at least 1/3 you should invest in large-scale awareness campaigns, maybe 10% in building up the supply chains and payment systems, and the rest for subsidies. And then the big question is always, who is going to pay? What do you think? Who should pay? Any idea? What do you think? Who should pay this? I don't know. Everybody in the world thinks that everybody in the world has the right to save water should pay this. And we have a good example. Ethiopia can become an example where this may work. And for 3 reasons. One is, Ethiopia has a policy of what they call self-supply, so they stimulate families to invest themselves. And water treatment is part of the self-supply. There is over 100 utilities, so water companies, that sell water filters as an additional service. And this is a big elephant in the room. Who of you have been in Africa and drink water from the tap? In almost none of the countries in Africa, not even in other, GCA, etc., do people drink water from the tap. So the utilities in Ethiopia, they have a vision and they know they cannot deliver 24/7 safe drinking water. So they sell filters as an additional service. And the third reason is there's the local production, so you can reduce to a maximum the cost of the water filter. So the cost of water filters there, the lowest one is $22, and they have produced over 500,000 already. And this was done with development aid. An investment of 0.3 million generated this production. So the suggestions are, countries should include household water treatment in their water safety plans, in the national plans for water. As far as we know, only 4 countries out of the 53 have household water treatment in the policy. Very few. The next one is stop giving filters for free. You want to help poor people, give vouchers, don't give filters. And Ethiopia can become the example. And the last thing is, let people choose. Give options so people can choose what they like. And this is another question again. I would like to see hands Who would agree with the proposition? The same proposition. I see now 6.5. So I won one vote at least. Thank you for your attention.
We have Mr. Alex, who's a consultant on sustainability. It's I think, a complete panel, and hats off to F.E.D.A for putting such a wonderful panel together. We have everybody here. So let me start with Mike. Okay? Mike, adiabatic cooling technology has been there for quite some time. Okay? I've seen adiabatic for the last 10 years. What is so special about Evapolar adiabatic technology? Can you please enlighten the people here?
Yeah, as you know, adiabatic cooling as long as the planet exists, because this is the physical process that we all know. But implementing adiabatic cooling with energy saving have some challenges, like first of all the chiller safety, because the water can probably causing the corrosion of the coils, corrosion of the other parts of the chillers. And of course this is dangerous, and the natural water used for evaporation the water needs to be treated, needs to be cleaned from the deposit, salt and everything. What we do, we invented this very special material which is enormous porous and 100% inorganic. We produce it from the volcanic glass and some other stone materials. And it gives us enormously porous material, like 1 square meter of our material has 10,000 square meters of the evaporative surface. So we just deliver all this power of evaporation to pre-cool the air around the chiller, which gives the chiller a chance to spend less electricity to make a high discharge. First of all, we are absolutely safe because all evaporation takes place inside our device. We are not spraying the water to the air. We are not letting water to leak down to the wet wall systems. So all evaporation process comes inside our device. So what we deliver the cool and humid air to the chiller, which is absolutely safe. The safety is the first. Second one, we are not spending drinkable water for this, or chilled water for this. So we are saving the water that Mr. Michael probably produced for us. So we use even semi-salted water is not a problem for our material. It's still working and still keeps its effectiveness in very long time. So we have an experience here in Sharjah where the technical water is a bit salted actually. We see how many deposits brings to a device using it. But we work very effectively in Sharjah now in one of our locations. We work very effectively in your location actually in Tripoli, as you know. And yes, this is the two things that differs us from our reels here. And the second one, so we are absolutely green because the material is fully organic, just figuratively it is stone. Means there is no degrading, this is not reacting with any environment, including the acid and some other active environments. And there is no chance of bacterial spread, like legionella, any contamination is impossible. So we use it in some different applications as well, probably I will tell about later.
Thank you very much, Mr. Michael. So basically what he was communicating to us is that they use recycled water or not drinking water, so that can be used in their adiabatic system, and they have a patented material which is extremely good. Now let me move on to Mr. Mohsin. Mr. Mohsin, you keep us safe, and you also say that you reduce power consumption. How do you do that?
Okay, thank you. Myself Mohsin from Kemptec. Thanks for inviting us for today. So, as Sam was mentioning that we are sitting in an open air green area, but it will not be always possible. You have to go in some room. So, and when the weather is hot, you have to use air conditioning. You have to have been in an enclosed environment. and that is where we come into picture. So we are an air solutions company. So we are an air purification company with a patented NASA-derived technology from USA. So it's called Aerosite, which is basically an oxidation technology and uses special PCO technology with titanium dioxide, creates an environment, the device what we use in an enclosed room is basically creates an environment similar to what we have outside. So it uses photocatalytic technology to treat the air inside an enclosed environment. So coming to your point on how we save energy is when you improve air quality inside a room, it basically helps you in reducing the fresh air inlet to any room. So that is how we would, any reduction, any improvement in air quality would mean reduction in your energy cost because you reduce the fresh air inside the room. That is one point. And just I would like to add, like it's not only about improving air quality in a room. So how we actually as Kemptec support in even improving from the sustainability point of view is in the food, we also work into the food and beverage segment where we basically treat any kind of, in the cold chain segment, we treat any kind of pathogens which are present in the air. So when you eliminate any kind of pathogen which is present in the air, you basically increase the shelf life of the food. So which would basically improve your, which will help you to remove the spoilage, shrinkage, issues related to food. So we are not only into air purification for healthcare, but also from the sustainability point of view, we are also into the food and beverage segment, cold chain segment, which would help to increase the shelf life of food and help us to reduce the energy related to producing food as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. So you're purifying the air, protecting us. You're consuming lesser power, so you're reducing the power consumption, and also you're contributing to the national food security.
Absolutely.
That's phenomenal. That's terrific. We have today among our guests very senior people from the FM industry, from the hospitality industry, and various other business verticals. Mr. Suresh, please tell me how Zoho IoT services connects and makes whatever performance which we get from people like Michael and Mohsin transparent, and so that we can understand how they are performing. What do you do?
Thank you, Sam, for having me here. So to make it to the public, so first Zoho.
Please tell something about Zoho also.
Okay. So to give a heads up, Zoho is a technology stack company for the last 25 years. We've been evolving with various technology, right, from infrastructure to your books, accounting, CRM. So it's predominantly a completely stack company, headquartered in India, and with 15,000 employees, and we are spread across the globe today. And IoT is one of the services that we are launching from Zoho. So across all the software stack, OT is something which we were not there, which we have been practicing for the last couple of years. So now we thought bringing in OT, so brings both IT and OT together for any digital transformation company for them to have one single unified application. So that is where we are looking out to it. So when we started talking with Sam right from day one, he was always particular about sustainability and then net zero goals. So that was also one inspiration for us to focus on air quality. So I took this discussion with my management and say like, why can't we have sustainability also as part of an IT tech? So rather than we preaching others, why don't we adopt it first? So we started net zero goals in 2019. So the campus back in Chennai is 45-acre campus, which is accommodating almost 11,000 employees. So we started from energy saving. That is like monitoring our basic energy consumption, which HVAC would take for the most of the cases. And then when you talk about net zero, it's not about energy, it's about how do you utilize your waste, how do you recycle things within your same campus. So we started doing food recycling, food waste recycling. Then we started capturing e-waste recycling, and then we started doing using EV vehicles within our campus to move around, and started enabling usage of EV vehicles from our employees that to add more values to the net zero and carbon footprint. So we started empowering our own employees to adopt the sustainability. So that's when we started 2019, and we've been one of the CES companies awarded with net zero goals for 2020, and from COVID we have been enhancing on it. So coming back to Sam's question, so since technology always been our bread and butter, so we want to give them ease of application, integrating water, air, and then other elements that are required to visualize where are we currently, how are we measuring it, and what are the measurements that are taken to achieve my net zero goals, and where am I now. So we have fulfilled all these stages in one single unified application. So when we say net zero, it's not really about one single component, it's about energy, water, and recycling. So everything has to be in single place so that you get more insight on where are we moving towards it. So in Zoho, we brought cloud-based application which can address all these elements in a unified platform, giving more visibility for the management and their continuous improvements.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that explanation. Now the next person is a very, very important person, because without him nothing moves. Because engineers can have solutions, GMs can have various plans, but if there is no money, then nothing moves. And Aditya controls the money part. And Aditya, I want you to explain to the people how Creek Capital, Taka Solutions, Siraj Power, how does this thing work? And how can we approach you? Because we have a lot of FM companies and people who are interested in reducing power and being sustainable. How can you help them do it?
Thanks for the very generous introduction, and very happy to be here in this August audience. So Creek Capital, as Sam said, is a decarbonization investment firm. So the model that we generally follow is known as decarbonization as a service, which means we invest in the infrastructure which is required to decarbonize our operations, and we get paid by way of generally usage of the infrastructure by the customers. And this we do through three platforms. So one is on the energy generation side, second is on the resource efficiency side, and third is on the mobility side. So now we do energy generation through a platform company called Siraj Power. Siraj is a provider of fully financed rooftop solar and hybrid solutions for the commercial and industrial segment. So what Siraj does is invest in your rooftop solar applications, and you pay for the energy which is delivered to you by Siraj. So Siraj is about 120 megawatts of connected capacity, 200 plus locations across the UAE. Has signed projects in Bahrain, is on the verge of signing project in Saudi, so pan-GCC presence. What I look after is the resource efficiency side. So there we have a platform company called Taka Solutions. Taka is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, EXPOs in the market. So we just celebrated 10 years earlier this year. And along with that, a few other milestones. So we recently hit a milestone of saving 100 million kilowatt hours of electricity for our clients. We've saved about 50 million dirhams in utility costs for our clients, and this we do through providing, again, fully financed, full turnkey solutions. And when I say fully financed turnkey solutions, it means not only do we provide the finance, but we have the capabilities in-house to do your design, to adopt the right technology, to implement, operate, manage, and ultimately measure and verify the savings that are generated by you. So again, fully turnkey solution. We invest in the infrastructure and get paid by savings. So this is a model which is commonly known as the shared savings energy performance contract. So we've signed about 100 projects across 8 different sectors over the last 10 years, giving us one of the largest portfolio in the region. So this shared savings energy performance contract and all other contracts that we do essentially enable businesses to focus on their core business and let us take care of their sustainability. So similarly on the mobility side, so recently I don't know how many of you entered from the blue zone, but outside near the main entrance or where you have the taxi stand, there is an EV charging station. That EV charging station is powered by mobile battery by our company called Hyper. So what Hyper does is gives power on demand. These are large batteries which replace diesel gensets, and these are charged on the 200 plus locations that we have in the UAE. And this is like a large scale, industrial scale battery swapping. So as soon as you're running out of battery, we bring in another battery, connect that, and take this away for charging. So battery swapping for the industrial sector. And what we also do is provide fleet electrification. So if you have large and heavy vehicles, we provide full turnkey solutions for that. So not only the fleet is financed by us, we also provide the full infrastructure required. Because today what you have is charging infrastructure for Teslas and BMWs. You don't have for trucks and large vehicles. So you need to create or invest in your own infrastructure. You do your journey mapping, you do your route planning, and so essentially again you provide a full turnkey solution, help you electrify your fleet, reduce your carbon footprint, and let you focus on your core business. So this for us, in a nutshell, decarbonization as a service where we take care of your sustainability needs, and most importantly, in everything that we do, we provide or we deliver operational savings for you. So this is every single solution that we provide is cheaper than your existing alternatives. So whether it is your grid connected electricity, grid connected cooling, or district cooling, water, charging, anything. We provide a solution which is cheaper, so you meet your sustainability goals, you avoid capital expense, you reduce your operating costs, and you are more sustainable.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, UAE has decided that we are going to be net zero by 2050. We have the solution providers, we have the integrators, we have the financiers. What excuse do we have? We don't have any excuse. The solution is available. So only thing is, we have to go and start implementing this solution. The next person is another very, very interesting person. I've known him for a long time, and he's a magician who creates water from air. And the good part about it is it tastes lovely. And what I'm saying is not a joke. He has his magic box down here and on the second floor. I'd definitely like all of you to go and taste the water and then ask him some questions. Now let me give the mic to Mr. Michael so that he can give you a wonderful explanation about drinkable air.
Thanks, Sam. First of all, thank you for setting this panel up. And thanks for the commercial. Yes, water from air. Behind us and up on the second floor. Please take a gander and have a drink. I mean, long story short, I mean it's not brain surgery. I mean, anytime you have a cold surface, you have warm air, you can create water from air. But what we basically do is we clarify the process by basically taking warm air, letting it touch a cold surface, and we keep it clean with an ozonation process. We've got 3 different platforms, anything from as small as making 10 liters a day all the way up to 400 liters a day. And why do people want water from there? Well, really, sustainability is a big issue. Scarcity is another big issue, but definitely in the HoReCa, the tourism industry, sustainability is a big deal. I mean, we all know, that plastic is not a good thing. I mean, getting rid of plastic, I mean, making plastic, is very, 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 very hard on the environment. And what we basically do by producing water from air is we eliminate the need for a plastic water bottle. But the scarcity side is also really, really important too. Sure, there's water filtration processes, but there's also issues with a lot of parts of the world where even, water from, 800 feet down or 800 meters down in the ground is filled with arsenic and nasty stuff or whatever. But water from air is basically pure, and we can keep it clean and pure. We can deliver a really interesting potable water product that's going to take care of scarcity issues. And Sam is also correct, from an innovation perspective, I mean, people come to us not only looking just for potable water, but using the potable water for other purposes. Gray water, where they can't get water because the local utility says you can't, use our water for funding plants anymore. We've got, distilleries using our water to make whiskey. We've got, other uses of water where they're looking for sustainable uses of a water product that they can advertise and market, that it's an interesting product. The last one, at least before I finish, you're right. The important guy in this panel is sitting right beside me. The money guy is always the important guy. And I can tell you, frankly, with Aditya and his company, we've had some really interesting conversations about, the use of water as a commodity and not just a capital expense for the equipment. So I look forward to seeing where this goes. Lots of interesting guys here, lots of interesting discussion about innovation in a sustainability side. Thanks again, Sam.
Alex, we've heard the solution providers, we've heard the finance people, we are here. Okay. You're the expert, you're the consultant. Please tell us, what are the positives of going with them, and is there something which we should be careful about? What do you do as a consultant? How do you help us take the right decision?
So we come from the buzzword artificial intelligence and IoT and blockchain. So there is a lot of perception, right? When we talk about sustainability, one is the program of having it structured. You have solution, you have business processes, you have financial, you have technology in place. But when you set the goal, the basic thing what you have to do is do a pre-prep. So when EXPO came, EXPO didn't come in one night, right? There was a study done behind it. There was explanation behind it. There was technology involved. So most of the organization, whenever they're taking sustainability, they start with a footprint of a vision, a goal, and what they want to achieve through process, to people, through technology. So I was part of Dubai Ports, and a very classic example, I was just talking to Dr. Kelvin that KFC oil was used to replace fuel in one of the vessels in Southampton in London. So how did they come to a measure of conversion? Was to have some algorithms built onto it and some type of permutation combination. And at the end it was like, how much do I have to spend? How much is my capital in this? What is my OPEX? Who are the people who need to be invested on? Does it give any profitability, or it is just another goal for the organization to move towards sustainability, right? So our primary job is to come help. When somebody says, hey, I need to, like Michael say, hey, I need to have a good drinking water. I'm not just going to say use this. I'm going to say, okay, what's your problem? What's your yes? Do you have a problem, or you just want to use it because I'm drinking X water and what more do I? That's not the goal what you achieve, right? It's having a purpose set, right? So when I have an interesting board when I see in Dubai dry docks when I go there. They say so many man hours of save time. You know, it's a very important thing in our life. We don't do this here, right? We never have a safe passage here. That's what we want to create. So the slogan which we have, like the Alexa says, right? So on the AI, now after ChatGPT, you know, it's all buzzword, right? If you just say sustainability in ChatGPT, I can have a presentation in 2 minutes, right? It's air purifier, again. So like Zoho, I'm a great fan of the company. So it's all about setting up the right vision and having the safe passage for this world. So that's the job we do. And consulting is an understatement word. We are more, the people who want to walk along the journey and feel happy with the people sitting along here. That's the story, Sam. I would call him Uncle Sam.
Thank you very much. When F.E.D.A asked me to come and moderate this panel, I saw the people who are going to be on the panel, and I also saw the people who are going to be sitting and listening to them. Then I was a little intimidated, because you have stalwarts sitting here, okay, and you have stalwarts sitting here, and I'm being sandwiched in between. So what I would like to do is, unlike the normal moderator who asks the questions and then says that, sorry, I just have 5 minutes time for question answers and the people don't get an opportunity to interact, I am going to throw the floor open. We have experts sitting here. Each one of you is a stalwart in their field, and I'm sure that you have some questions you'd like to ask them. So we'd like to have an interactive session where we are able to take more questions from the eminent audience than from a novice moderator. Please raise your hand if you'd like to ask something to the panel here.
First thing is, we don't go on technology at all. I am a believer that never go with technology. I can drive the car. That's what you need to know. I have the infrastructure. That's what we need to have. So from the consulting standpoint of view, before we reach the technology aspect, we need to design the blueprint first. What does your organization want to achieve? What is your definition for, say, carbon footprint reduction, sustainability as a program? do you adhere with COP28 kind of policies, procedures, and what is your standardization? So certain of them can be as simple as creating a business process within an organization which does not need any technology as well, right? But once you reach a next set of, automation, which you call it, because there's a buzzword called digital transformation today, right? Everybody in the organization who uses the word digital, not knowing what exactly is digital today, right? So my 5-year-old daughter is much more digital savvy than me, to be honest. Okay, but how do I define a digital strategy for the organization, and how much percentage of technology should be a part of your vision? Because sustainability is becoming a part of the organization's vision, and how much percentage of technology is driving it will derive. So to answer in two specifics, first let's make the blueprint right. Let's have the policies and procedures defined. And there are programs like, a lot of AI tools, or say IoT devices or IoT tech. So you might have an existing infrastructure as well. So how do you optimize the best? So usually the best way is to use what you have and optimize. But the trend is, I have an old car, let me sell and buy the new one. So that doesn't work so frequently. So it's a process, it's a journey. But what we can do is, it's when somebody asks me how digital your organization can move, it's like, how much will I reduce pollution from air? That's the question you're asking. So it's a process, it's a journey, we take it step by step. There are tools in the market, which is like, say, Zoho has, or we have developed an AI platform for sustainability, like IBM has today, or Oracle, or a lot of good guys have. So we need to follow the journey. Hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I have a question to Michael from Evapolar. Okay, we know that your technology improves the efficiency of the chiller, and we are going to save energy, and that's accepted. What is the kind of payback can we expect? So that's something which, as clients, we are very keen to know that how do you, what is your projection in terms of the payback, and how do you guarantee the safety of our chillers?
So we can save in average about 20-25% of cooling vehicles during a year. In the summertime it's about 40-45%. And of course the ROI, the payback, it depends on the load of your chiller. Sometimes, that in this country we face the situation when the chillers were over-designed, like double than capacity is actually needed for the building. And of course the engineering team using all of them anyway, just let the chillers work sometimes, just make lubricate the compressor parts and some other things. So means every time it is like a tailor-made solution. But what I can guarantee, first of all, will be about not less than 20% of the electricity bills. And the safety, we guarantee contractually in our contract that if anything happened to your condenser coils or any other part of the chiller that we can interact, we will replace it at our cost because we're 100% sure in our technology.
It's a bad order. So basically these are the three types of pollutants which we have in air, which as a company we face and we would like to treat it. So but as Sam mentioned about the pollutants which are present in the HVAC system, which would cause the cooling coils, which would cause the air to have infection, or the cooling coils to have mold formation. So these are all types of bacteria and the microbial content which is present in the air, which would spoil your cooling coils or which will have an effect on your air. So basically UV is a solution which actually would disinfect the mold formation, which would disinfect the air, and we have a solution from Pure Lighting from a US company, which would treat the mold formation on the cooling coil as well as disinfect the air at the source of your air inlet, which is the air handling unit. Basically in any HVAC system, your air handling system or a fan coil unit system, fresh air fan coil unit would be the source of air supply to any building. So that is where we would put our UV disinfection systems to treat the air, to prevent the mold formation in the air. Then we also have solutions in the duct, which would go into your duct in the path of the airflow, again a UV solution. Then we have on-site solutions with the help of aeroside solutions, which will treat the air inside any enclosed environment. So these are the three types of solutions which we have for all the three types of problems which we face because of air.
Thank you very much for having me here. We've heard a lot about water. Michael, that was very interesting. I had a chat with him earlier. Great job. I need to get a machine. Sam, I need a discount. The gentleman here as well, and then of course aerosides and the air, purifying air. Good questions, good answers, great panelists over here. I think now we have the next set of panelists who are going to come and join us. So we say thank you to you all. Have your seats, please stay back. Bear with us for some time till we invite the new panelists to the stage.